Hello and welcome to Drive and Double Feature Podcast. I'm Nathan.
I'm Ryan.
And this is the podcast where we talk about 2 movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. But before we get into today's episode, I want to talk to you about our Patreon. If you head over there, you can just spend $5 a month. You help support us, but also you get fun content over there, conversations, stuff like that. But no main show content is locked behind that Patreon. But you know, all of you have it anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Just gotta shout it out. Just gotta shout it out. But
For that for that 0.0% of our listeners that aren't subscribed.
The 0.0, yeah, exactly. For all of those people, trust me, we got to get every last dime that we can to run this pod. This is an expensive podcast. Like it's like movie quality. Like I'm talking $1 million an episode. It's tough out here. But getting into today's episode, we are talking about Protocol from 1984, starring Goldie Hawn and written by Buck Henry, directed by Herbert Ross. Actually, the reason I had picked this movie is because I was interested in it because it was written by Buck Henry. So I was like, okay, maybe it'll be funny. Who knows?
You a big Buckhead?
I like Buck. I like Buck Henry. You know, he was a host on SNL, I think 5 or 6 times, something like that, or maybe even more. He was a host a lot in those first original seasons. He was a really funny host. He also, I think he won, I think he was just nominated for writing The Graduate. And he's written plenty of movies, so I don't know. I was interested in it. Do you have any experience with Protocol or anything? That's it.
No, but it's funny. I've known about it for a really long time because
Really?
I always felt like, yeah, well, like my mom is like a big Goldie Hawn fan, so
I remember that.
I believe we had the VHS, or if not, I remember seeing the VHS cover for that movie, like at the video store a lot, like at
Really?
one of them. Yeah, that always I remember the poster more than the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the poster's very recognizable. It's Goldie Hawn wearing like almost like a baseball fit
Like
and
tennis outfit or something.
yeah, and she's standing in front of like the White House and she's got like a group of men behind her. It's very much like you're going to see this movie for one reason, and that's Goldie Hawn. That's
Politics.
Sorry. Well, yeah, sorry. Political stuff. No, you're here to see like a comedy movie starring Goldie Hawn. But otherwise, I knew nothing about this. This is a very recent find for me. So in this movie, we have Sunny, who is working as a cocktail waitress, and it's like a jungle-themed cocktail bar, and she's dressed
The
as
safari bar, yeah.
Yeah, the safari bar, and she thinks she's gonna get dressed up as a bird, but it's an emu, which she doesn't know what an
She
emu
calls it
is.
a chicken.
Chicken, that's right. Yeah, she's like, no, it's an emu, I think is how she pronounces it in the movie. So she just kind of goes around. It just kind of shows her life, a very simple life as a waitress, the people that she meets around her, and then she has a weird living situation, especially for 1984, where she lives with 2 other men, but it's 2 gay men. And
In this day and age, I was clenching my pearls watching this
yeah.
movie,
Oh my
Nathan.
God,
So
that's
hard.
a roommate with 2 gay men. I can't believe it. And that's funny because it's not as big of an issue in this movie as you'd think. It gets brought up and she's just like, yeah, because that's the thing with her character. She's very earnest. She says what she thinks, and people tend to like that about her because her life is her life and she has no shame about it.
Yeah, well, I think they ask her, they're like, it's like, oh, I heard you live with 2 male roommates, or you say something like you live like 2 male roommates live with you, and they're like, no, I live with 2 men and I live in a small space in their house or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the way she phrases it. So that's what's going on. And did you notice we actually had a returning actress in this movie? One of her friends at the bar who shows up for just a split second is Jean Smart.
Jean Smart, I recognize Jean Smart. Yeah.
Yep, from Snow Day.
Yeah.
Yes, her most important movie.
She
Jean.
was just well. So each one of them had a movie where they were attached to Chevy Chase.
Holy crap. And what, like, what is that? 20 years apart from each other,
Yeah.
too?
Yeah, one Foul Play and
Yeah.
and
That,
Snow Day.
wow. And they both probably loved their experience with Chevy Chase.
Well, speaking of that,
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you read, but like I for a second, like what so I'm jumping way ahead here, but um she witnesses like an assassination attempt and she
Mhm.
actually thwarts it, but in the process she ends up getting shot.
Yeah.
Um did you I thought that the doctor performing the surgery sounded so familiar, and I'm like, where, what is that? Well, like that, I've heard that voice,
Uh,
and
Okay.
I, sure enough, that was Chevy Chase.
No way.
Yeah, he
No
had like a
way.
camp,
And an
like an
uncredited
uncredited.
cameo.
Yeah,
That's actually crazy. I didn't realize that. So, wow. So both of them are in multiple Chevy Chase movies, technically.
yeah. Well, I think they're in a different. I think Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase are in another movie together,
Actually, you are right.
but no, I, 'cause I thought that too. I was just like, my ears kind of perked up, and I was just like, what is that? Who is that voice? And I'm like, sure enough, it was Chevy
It
Chase.
was Benji. Yeah, you were like, oh,
Hmm.
Benji. That's right. Yeah. But no, that's actually a really cool fun fact. But yeah, so that's exactly how the plot goes. She shows up to like a presidential thing, and she sees a man with a gun, and she kind of thwarts it, and then she gets shot in the butt. So they do surgery on her butt, which they show, and it's really funny because she's just kind of giggling while she's getting like sewed up. Uh,
Like her, like she's her toes are kind of curling, like, and she's kind of like kicking her little feet, like nee, 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 nee,
yeah,
like
it's
she's like it's just like like she's just like on the bed, like listening to gossip or something.
yeah, it's so goofy. But yeah, and then off of this, she becomes like one of the most famous people in America because she thwarted an assassination, and she's getting letters. She's getting love letters. People are fighting to get into her hospital room. And then we also get a sequence of seeing her on magazines and stuff, but we also get a TV interview with John Ratzenberger, who I guess is the security guard who was also there, and he's like speaking in security jargon. He's like, yeah, I cleared the area using my protocols. And then I think somebody asked, what were those protocols, and he says, I don't remember, or something along those
Oh yeah, or
lines.
it's or you saying something like how many shots did you hear? They're like it's like like between 3 and 8 or something like that.
Yes, just
Just clearly just like clearly talking out of his ass. Like he does not know what he's talking about.
yeah, it's very silly. But yeah, so she ends up getting like a press guy because she's gonna have to start doing press tours. And what they find out, or at least our government finds out, is that she's just really likable. She's kind of like almost an all-American girl with no issues because her dad was in base, or no, her grandpa was in baseball. All of her answers to every question is just really nice. She's very hopeful, very patriotic for her country. So that's when these two dudes, one of them played by Ed Begley Jr.,
Mhm.
kind of take the reins and are like, you know what, we need to get her into the office because people seem to really like her. So that's where it comes from. She becomes protocol for the president. Um,
Yeah, well, I mean, she kind of like she's like you said, she's very charismatic and people really love her responses. And she doesn't even have like a political agenda. She's like, oh well, he president. I don't know him, but he seems like a nice guy, type of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, because I think so, yeah, somebody asked like and she says something along the lines of like, well, he gets paid a whole lot more than me, so I think he's doing a good job, or just something like
Right.
that. And then like, oh, this hospital is the best place you can go to if you need surgery on your ass. Which,
Well, yeah, and people like keep commenting on like how's your butt, and she's like, oh yeah, it's good as new, or like
yeah, which is funny, and that's kind of what holds this movie up is her performance because she is a lot of fun. And that I can kind of diverge maybe more into my opinions now. um I think for me, I don't think this was a very good movie. It's not bad. I don't think it's bad, but it does nothing for a long time. Like I remember looking at the time on it and I was 50 minutes in and I was like, wow, okay, she became protocol and then it kind of felt like nothing really happened for a long time.
Oh, we should say too, when they told her like we're offering you a job in protocol, and she's just like, oh my God. And then she's like, wait a second. And then she had to like go run into the house and go
Uh-huh.
look it up in the dictionary. That was funny, I
Yeah,
thought.
no, that was fun. And then she's like, they're offering me a job. And then she runs back out to take the job.
Oh, and I- so I had to look it up because they did say the salary, it's like we're gonna pay you $35,000 a year.
And it was supposed to be like
And
a jaw drop moment.
well, yeah, like because now if you get paid $35,000, that's not even a livable wage
No,
anymore.
that's
Eh,
like it's not, yeah, that's like
It's
minimum
like
wage, a little
slightly
over.
that that's like slightly above poverty. It's
Yeah.
but uh anyway, like I had to look it up. Do you know how much that is in current day money?
No.
It's
Um,
about $100,000 a year job.
Perfect. I mean, yeah, that's one. Yeah, I wish. That's wonderful.
I
Uh,
that reminded me of the movie you've seen the movie Best Days of Our Lives, right?
yeah, yeah, yes. Great movie.
Well, there's a scene where Frederick March gets offered to be like the bank manager, and
Hmm.
like the owner of the bank is like, I'm going to pay you $20,000 a year. And he was
Ah!
just like, he's like start stopper, which that was 1944, which I looked that up. That's like 600,000 a year, like back like
Oh,
today's money.
holy crap. Yeah, no wonder
So,
that's a jaw drop moment. Holy crap.
right.
Uh,
But anyway, going back to it, yeah, I wanted to mention that like the funny scene with the protocol when she does get offered the job.
yeah, yeah, which is a really funny scene. But yeah, it seemed like you might have had something to say maybe about like the movie not being too great.
No, yeah, so that's what I was gonna get into. I completely agree with you. I didn't really like this movie, to be honest with you. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I did enjoy Goldie Hawn's performance. She's the
Yeah.
whole reason I stayed com somewhat invested into the movie.
Hmm.
But this movie like took a really like it threw a huge curveball at me, and I really didn't like it that much.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So so at this point in the movie, when she gets offered that job in protocol, I thought it was going to be something like a fish out of water type story, where
Hmm.
it's like this girl who like she doesn't really know politics, but she knows she's got a good attitude, and she's got a good head on her shoulders. And at first, people kind of want her to fail, but through trying hard and being a great good person, she's able to excel at the job and able to point out any wrongdoings from anyone else in this field. Something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
That's kind of
That
what I expected.
Yeah, and that's kind of maybe what I would have wanted. Like I don't know, it's like when we watch the Hallmark movies where it's like it's familiar, but like because of the role and if it's at least funny, I can enjoy it. It's just kind of like a classic movie. And but here's the thing, this movie does follow that for a little bit. That movie does follow that kind of formula for a bit. I don't think it's great, but like, it's fine where she kind of goes from job to job and she's messing it up. Like there's a scene where she's taking care of somebody's dogs, right? And then she accidentally lets the dogs out. Who let the dogs out? There it is, Goldie Hawn,
Mm.
Or
Oh,
Sunny.
who,
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 who?
who? Yeah, what a classic song. But yeah, there's moments like that, but most of it is a political movie about a Middle Eastern country that America wants to make amends with or become friendly with. So they kind of force Goldie Hawn into marriage is what they want to do, or at least to sleep with this leader because the leader really likes her.
I was really turned off to like this whole premise because it was just
Mhm.
like, because that's not what I wanted to see. Because like, like I thought like she was going to be kind of like, oh, like we're just going to keep her around for like good press type of thing, or
Mhm.
she's just going to be around to where we can trot her out and and like everyone will be happy type of thing. But Instead, it was just like this weird, like, we have to marry her off to this sheik, like without her consent, and we're not going to talk to her about it at all. And like they have like one of the directors like goes up to her and basically is like, you need to show this Amir a good time, a really good time, like
Hmm.
like heavily implying that you need to sleep with this guy.
Yeah.
And this guy and the Amir has, he's none the wiser. He thinks like Goldie Hawn's totally into her, and she's gonna marry him.
Yeah, and there's something about that that's like just it just makes you feel a little gross, right? Because because the movie's playing out this like don't trust your government, keep an eye on the government because they're they might try to they might be taking advantage of us. Um which I don't know if this is the way to do it because there's an air of, for me, it felt like an air of racism a little bit behind it. Like, oh, this is a Middle Eastern country, so he's going to have a harem and he's going to have a bunch of wives and he's going to be forcing women to marry him. And then, of course, there's a whole bunch of I forget what you call it, kind of like the chanting that they do or whatever. And like it just felt like a little like it just didn't really work, and just made me feel a little gross because there's that whole scene where she takes him out to the jungle safari to help out with their money issues, and they have a huge party together with a whole bunch of people, but the whole time the Amir is like, oh, you're so beautiful, I only have eyes for you, and it's just like he gets closer and closer to her. And yeah, and Goldie Hawn, she's kind of a ditzy, so she doesn't really understand fully what's going on.
Which I don't know why you take a bunch of those people to like to like a bar, because I was like, I know like Muslim religion, they're not allowed
Yeah.
to drink. And
Hmm.
what they had them like drink at the bar, what was it, like milk and seltzer water or something like that? It was something
Something
like
like
really
that.
gross.
Yeah. Which is
But
kind of funny.
there was a funny line though in that one, because she had to dress up like an emu in
Hmm.
the earlier in the scene. And when the Amir's there, she's just like, "You see that girl dressed up like a bird or like a chicken?" And he's like, "I believe that's an emu." Like,
That was funny. Yeah, and that's the thing with this movie is it has moments where it's kind of funny. Like there's little funny bits to it. But then it really goes off the rails whenever he because there actually is a whole brawl that happens, a lot falls out, so they just tell Goldie Hawn, you're gonna go to that country and you're gonna stay there and learn from the people. But what they really mean is you're gonna go over there and you're gonna become his wife. And she doesn't realize it. So she gets there, she puts on like their traditional outfit and pretty much gets stashed away. And I'm glad they didn't go that far. I thought it was going to become an escape movie where she'd become a wife and she'd have to figure out how am I going to get out of this country. And I was like, that's really boring. But instead, the movie throws like kind of a curveball where there's uh what do you call
like
that?
a like a big
Uh
mural.
yeah,
Are
yeah,
you
well,
talking
yeah.
about like,
Well, no, yeah. So there's a big mural, and she realizes that she's like getting married, but then also a giant coup happens, and the government building gets attacked. So she has an easy way out of there because they have to escape to America.
there's just like these really uncomfortable moments too in this movie that because it's supposed to, you're expecting a really lighthearted comedy, but
That's what
then
I thought.
it just becomes like this crazy like political thriller, like like coup, like you said, like
Hmm.
action movie towards the end. Because and there's other really uncomfortable moments too, where she's like going to like bathe in like this stream or whatever, and
Hmm.
she's not naked or anything like that. She has like on like a shirt and some shorts, I think, and she's just kind of like wetting herself down, and the Amir just like screams at her like, "Cover yourself," like that type of thing. Like,
Yeah, because I think she takes her hair out too, right?
yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, exactly. It's like cover yourself, and and she's like she's there as a visitor because it doesn't she also ask like I want to go see some hospitals, some schools, and that's like no, 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 no. You won't be doing that.
Well, they don't even treat her as an equal, because there's a scene where they're walking to the car, and she's doing all that. She's like, I want to go do this, do that. They're not even like looking at her or acknowledging her. It's like they're
Yeah.
already see her as like something isn't inferior.
Which that's not really funny. That's the
No,
problem.
it's not.
It's not. It's just not funny. So it like loses its way because it's still trying to be lighthearted, I think. It just doesn't work. And then that's the thing is once you get to the end, it ends up trying to have a big political statement because she gets back and the whole country thinks some people think she's doing a good thing by getting married because the country believes that she's actually wanting to get married. But then she has to come back and be like, hey, no, I did not want this. The government forced this on me. And so she gets a giant speech at the end of the movie being like, we the people, we're the people. If they do this to me, they do this to you. So keep your eye out because I'll be watching you.
Yeah, she's like, I'm no longer, bro. I'll be watching you this whole time,
Yeah. It kind of falls on
and they're
deaf
like,
ears in a movie like this.
yeah. I mean, there's, I do like certain elements of it where it shows like how good of a person she is because she is gifted like a Rolls Royce, and she's just like, oh, like I'm a government employee. I'm
Yeah.
not allowed to take this type of thing, and
Hmm.
which it's funny because there was a recent news story about that sort of thing not too long ago,
Yeah.
and
But
and the exact opposite thing happened. But
yeah, yeah. No, and it's funny because she said it like the news said, like, oh, it was given to the property of public transportation, and the president of public transportation took it for himself personally, which is funny.
yeah,
Yeah, and then we didn't even talk about because it's kind of like lame, the romance in this movie.
like that's like the worst part of this movie, honestly. Like
Yeah.
just comes completely out of like left field. Like these two have like zero chemistry together.
Yeah, it's so bad because they're supposed to, it's like an immediate thing because he walks in, he's kind of the press person to help her like move along with this job.
That's which it's Chris Sarandon, who is uh he was Prince Humperdinck and Princess Bride,
Oh, okay. I thought he looked
and
recognizable.
and he's also like the voice of Jack Skellington in Nightmare Before Christmas.
I didn't know that. Wow. That's actually pretty cool. Well, in this role, I don't think he's very charismatic but
No,
that's more of a writing thing because this guy's just very boring. He's just kind of like a nice guy. And then like Goldie Hawn teaches him to say what he thinks. Yeah.
it's just a character arc that I really wasn't interested in. And like you said, they just start like falling in love, and like they just have a scene where they just start like making out
Yeah.
for like for a little bit, and it doesn't really feel earned or anything.
Yeah,
And
it does kind of come out of nowhere, doesn't it?
so I really wasn't buying into their whole romance deal. And
Yeah.
at the end of the movie, it's like they're like, "Oh, well, how about a political career for you as president?" She's like, "No, that's not for me." And they're like, "Well, what about senator?" And she's like, type
Uh-huh.
of thing.
Yeah, which is funny. And then she becomes senator, and that's where we reveal that they get married. That's her husband now.
Well, not only that, but like apparently, like she had children with him, and
Hmm.
like one of the sheiks or whatever, like they're like, "Oh, he's our new babysitter."
It's kind of a funny bring it all around. And you see, it's moments like that now I think about it. There's a good movie here. There's a funny enough movie here. I just feel like maybe it tried its hand a little too hard at being like political and it added kind of a gross angle to it.
There's a lot of movies like that. There's another one. I think it's called Club Paradise. That movie with
I've
Robin
heard of it.
Williams.
Yeah.
That one also takes like a really weird like political turn, like for no reason at all. So
Weird.
it just seems kind of like on brand with like that time in like the 80s, I guess. It was just like, oh well, we gotta also say something. We gotta be relevant at two at the same time type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But it when you do stuff like that, I think it really doesn't the movie doesn't feel as timeless.
Exactly. Whereas if it was just her, bumbling in the government, it's fun, right? So
Yeah.
I would say Protocol for me is not a recommend. Like I said, I don't think it's bad, but there's much better comedies from this era that you could enjoy, especially from her. So just kind of forgettable. I get why nobody talks about this one.
Yeah, I mean Goldie Hawn's great. I mean, and she is likable in this one as well, but there's much better Goldie Hawn movies out there if that's something you're really looking for.
Yeah, definitely. But that wraps it up for this movie. But Ryan, what are we going to be covering on Thursday?
Well, Nathan, we're going to be talking about the movie Twice Upon a Time, and that one is on the Internet Archive right now.
Awesome. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to watch that in 4 different parts.
Yeah.
But if you want to email us, you can email us at driveanddoubleFeaturePodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out our Patreon and also check us out on YouTube. But until next time.
Until next time.